Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Yeonni. This video is on what is and how to deal with funks and existential crises. Clearly not a very light topic, something that can't be wrapped up in one YouTube video, but I wanted to talk about this topic because it's really important and it's something I feel like we just kind of don't talk about, and the more we talk about it, the more conversations we can have and kind of help each other to go through these things. So first things first, what are funks and what are existential crises? Funks and existential crises are fundamentally similar but very different things. I bet you've experienced a funk before when you feel kind of sad, unmotivated, tired, and this could last for a span of days or even weeks, rarely months, but definitely like days or weeks where you're just kind of feeling like, that's when usually people say, I'm in a funk, you know? An existential crisis is a bit deeper than that, or a lot deeper than that, where someone kind of starts to question their existence, like existential, our existence, our purpose, our identity, just kind of like, what am I doing in this world? What is my purpose? What is my place? Are the things that I'm working for worth it? You know, it's like really heavy, deeper questions that really don't have an easy short-term answer. Sometimes existential crises are tied to symptoms of depression. Existential crises can be triggered by catastrophic life events like losing a loved one or someone close to you, losing a job, being unemployed and not being able to find a job, and like you have to provide for a family or something, or just kind of life events that you didn't plan for that kind of hit you, like kind of a bus hitting you, and now you're like, whoa. It can also be triggered if you feel like you're in an unhappy place in your life where, let's say you've been at a job for years and it's not where you thought you would ever end up, but you're there and time is ticking, you feel unfulfilled, you feel unhappy, but you don't really see an out of that workplace. That kind of environment could also lead to an existential crisis. So I want to talk about this topic because I a few months ago, in June, I believe I experienced an existential crisis. It's not something that I can really diagnose, but from what I was going through, the thoughts that I was having, it was most definitely, why am I here? What is my purpose? What is my identity sort of a deal? And I'm gonna be transparent with you guys. That happened because I graduated from grad school, going to NYU Silver School of Social Work, getting a master's degree, being a social worker was such a huge part of my identity that when all the busyness and craziness of schools and internships and papers and like licensing exams, when all of that was over and I didn't get a job right away as I had planned, I kind of felt like I got hit with a bus because everything led up to this moment of graduating with my license, with my master's degree, and I thought, you know, doors would fling open wide for me. And I knew that being in the social work field, it wasn't going to be the easiest finding jobs, but because I believed in myself, because I was so like gung-ho about being a social worker, like NYU student, you know, like master's degree, you know, I was really like devastated. I was devastated when I had applied and interviewed to multiple hospitals and companies, and I got 2 interviews, and I applied to like 10, 12 positions that I was really passionate about, of course, not just like throwing my resume out there, but that I felt like I could really be a fit in. I felt like I could really help other people and really use my newly learned skills and expertise to give back to society, you know. And when I didn't get those interviews, when I didn't get those callbacks, and I realized it was June, month after I graduated, and then it became July, and I still didn't have a job, I felt, what am I doing? You know, like, whoa, why am I sitting at home and not doing anything? Why am I not out there working? Did I really spend all this money on a degree and I didn't get a job? I was extremely disappointed in myself because of my high expectations that I always tend to put on myself, unhealthy expectations at that. And I felt ashamed and guilty for some reason that I'm just like taking up materials and resources in society and not really giving back. I don't know, this was my existential crisis, so it might sound kind of ridiculous to you, but these were the thoughts going in my head. I was just laying in bed all day. I was just watching YouTube videos after YouTube videos, which is fine, you know, but it was unhealthy. Like literally my eyes were turning red and getting dry because I was just watching videos after videos, trying to just waste the days away because I didn't want to think. I didn't want to think. I didn't want to accept that I was unemployed. So when it comes to funks, I think it's important that we don't try to just snap out of it, because it's not really possible. When you are in a funk, it's kind of our brain telling us, our brain and our emotions telling us, hey, like, attention here, something's going on that's not healthy or that's not making you happy, and like you need to pay attention to that. That is a funk. So if you try to snap out of it, it's kind of like the nuance of, oh, this isn't important, just forget about it, let's move on to something else. And you kind of skirt it under the rug and it's not dealt with immediately. So the red light's blinking and you don't deal with it, and eventually something's gonna explode. Like my existential crisis in June. Don't get too stuck on the why factor. It's a delicate balance, I think, and everything in life, whether it comes to diet or anything, really everything, moderation is so important. And even self-reflection and mindfulness should be done in moderation, in my opinion. So when we start asking the why, especially when it comes to funks and existential crises, most of the times there isn't a clear-cut answer. You don't have that clarity right away. That's why we're getting that red light telling us to sit down, slow it down, and figure it out. So instead of focusing on the why too much and potentially worsening the funk, maybe try to focus on what. What is it that you're feeling, and what can you do to get out of the feeling, or like what can you do to deal with the feeling effectively? The third thing I could say about how to deal with a funk is talk to people. That could be the last thing on your mind of what you want to do when you're kind of feeling the funk. You know, that's how I feel when I'm in a funk. I just want to stay home, pet my cats, eat a lot of chocolate. But honestly, that doesn't help me, because I just remain in the funk, thinking and thinking and overthinking and overthinking and overthinking. Talking to someone who's close to you, who knows you, who understands you, and having them listen to you could bring a lot of clarity into why you're feeling a certain type of way. Last thing I could suggest that you could do to try to deal with a funk or get out of a funk is to do manageable tasks that you might have been putting off because of the funk. For example, after I graduated and summer started, I stopped making YouTube videos because besides being really crazy busy, I did have a lot more time because I didn't have a job, I wasn't in school anymore, but I put off making YouTube videos because of the funk. I blamed it on the funk, being like, oh, I can't be creative, I don't want to put makeup on, I don't want to look presentable. I'm the type of person that kind of thrives off being busy. I like to throw myself into tasks and projects and everything, and I knew there was that voice in my head saying, if you throw yourself into your YouTube channel, you'll be able to get those creative juices going, you'll be able to have fun. Yet I put it off, I didn't do it, I kept making excuses, I just didn't. And I regret that. I really wish I kept doing it, and I feel like it could have really helped me get out of the funk. So now we're shifting gears and going to the I don't know what that was all about. Now we are at the existential crisis part of the video, but with this part of the video I'm going to be a little more careful, because when it comes to existential crises, it's a lot deeper, it's a lot heavier, it's something that my video isn't gonna magically fix for you. The number one thing when dealing with an existential crisis that I feel like could really help you is to be patient. I know you hate that word, I know it's really annoying when people say that to you, but really acknowledging and accepting that you're going through an existential crisis and it's okay helps a lot. First step is acceptance. The next thing you can do when you are experiencing an existential crisis is sit down and examine. Did something happen in your life recently or before you started feeling this way that may have led to this? Did you lose your job? You know, maybe losing a loved one. It's always good to try to explore your thoughts and your memories and kind of take this time to yourself. It's okay to take time for yourself. And I know the term self-care is all around the internet. It's super trendy these days, which is good and bad, because sometimes brands and companies kind of skew what self-care really is to sell their products, which is such a pet peeve of mine. I bring that up because it is okay to take time for yourself. It's okay to kind of spoil yourself in a way where if you're someone who's always giving and giving and giving, you'll never be able to take the opportunity to give to yourself. And giving yourself time is sometimes something that is so necessary and so important. And the third thing I could say on how to deal with an existential crisis is get connected with people. So majority of this video has been about exploring ourselves, right? Like finding mindfulness, self-realization, like getting to know yourself, which is all extremely important. But interestingly, sometimes kind of stepping out of our own mind and our own lives and spending time with others, it's kind of like taking the magnifying glass off ourselves a little bit. It's kind of relaxing, soothing in a way, like, ooh, okay, let me just kind of take the thinking cap down, put down the magnifying glass, and kind of focus on my friend whose birthday is coming up. You know, like I want to plan the perfect birthday for her. Oh, I remember so-and-so just had a breakup. Oh, I should really call her up. And it really depends. You can see how, depending on the type of person you are and the type of situation or environment you're in, the advice is kind of like you have to pick and choose what fits right for you. For me, the latter part of that last advice really did help me a lot. Kind of stepping out of my own head and my own mind, because I'm always in here way too much. A huge way that I was able to kind of step out of my own like funk / existential crisis of not having a job right after graduation was getting married. So leading up to that, I had a family trip with my family, and it was about us as a unit, not just me. And I had my bachelorette party with my girlfriends, and that was so much fun. It was us as girlfriends, you know. And then I got married, and it's about me and my husband, Matt, and it's about us, not just me. And that really helped me to put all that pressure off myself and just focus on me with other people. It made me feel less lonely, less insignificant, as existential crises tend to make you feel sometimes. It made me feel like I was a part of something. Like I'm a part of my family, I'm a part of my friends, I'm a part of this new family with my husband and my 2 kitties. I'm a part of this world. I am here for a reason. I matter to these people. These people matter to me. And at the end of the day, that's what really helped me to get out of my funk that led to the existential crisis. I want to leave you with this quote from Haruki Murakami: "When you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in." That's what the storm is all about. And I think that perfectly exhibits what going into a funk or an existential crisis could feel like. It's a storm, it's a typhoon. But I promise you, when you step out of it, it can be a positive experience where you learn more about yourself, learn more about mindfulness, and you can find peace. Thank you so much for watching this video. I truly hope anything that I might have mentioned could have really helped you in dealing with your funk or your existential crisis. And if you're not going through it, maybe you learned something about yourself, or maybe one of your close friends or family members who maybe might be going through this. Reach out to them, send them a text, give them a call, talk to them. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one.